YouTube, what's going on, guys? What is going on? This might be some life-changing information for some of y'all, but I really want to break this down, man, because it is something that I've practiced for years. It is a life-changing way of thinking, but most people don't share it. Most people don't want to talk about it because it's different. It's gonna be some deep stuff, and this might not be for you, like I said, but I'm trying to expose you guys to a way of thinking, man, I'm telling you, it could change your life. I want to talk to you about something called Stoicism. The reason why I want to talk to you guys about this is because your favorite rapper, the most motivational people in your life, the most successful people in their life, they practice some part of this. I want to be able to tell you guys a deeper level of thinking. Free game. I've been trying to be the best version of myself. Our brand motto is Die a Legend because I don't just think about my purpose, I think about how I'm gonna go out. That is a form of what's called Stoicism, living a stoic lifestyle. Now, this word stoic is definitely going to go over your head for now, but I'm gonna break it down for you a little bit more. And I gotta tell you, I didn't know I was living a stoic lifestyle. I just knew I needed to take things as serious as life or death. I went through something that made me think about things, either life or death. If you guys don't know what Stoicism is pretty much the philosophy or the study of living a good life. What I mean by that is being the best version of yourself and making choices that you can control. It's literally living a virtuous life. Living a virtuous life with death in mind, with your purpose in mind. When you live a stoic lifestyle, you do not look at what society says is successful. You don't care about how somebody looks or what they say or what they write. None of that matters, because there's a lot of people that write things, that say things, that look a certain way, but behind closed doors, they're different. Living a stoic lifestyle is 100% based on your actions, the things that you do, and self-awareness, what you know about yourself. And yo, this is crazy. This is some crazy stuff because I be saying this to people all the time and it goes over their head. There'll be barbershop owners, for example, that be like, yo, I can't get my barbers to get behind me. Cool. Is it your barbers or is it you? If you can't get nobody to get behind you, maybe it's you. Have you taken a moment to just think about who you are, the type of person you are? What are you doing on a daily basis that gets you the results that you get? Even bad marriages can be solved not by just communication. Like communication doesn't matter. Comprehension doesn't matter. You know what matters? Knowing who you are. If your wife doesn't know who she is, if you don't know who you are, you can't comprehend nobody, because you can't even comprehend yourself. Let me break this down for a second. What outside emotions and what people do outside of your own emotions affects you, you're the problem, not them. No one should ever affect how you feel besides yourself, because you're in control of your feelings. And nobody wants to say these things. You're a bad person if you say these things. I'm in control of everything. Your boss disrespects you. To have the self-control, to have a perspective where this dude disrespecting me, he's my boss, but he does not control who I am, my emotions, and what I think about myself. There's a lot of people who say they're different. There's a lot of people who say they're different. There's a lot of people who say they're wise. I got into a big old thing with a false prophet. You guys might know who he is. I ain't gonna mention his name, but I got into it with a fake ass dude because this is a person who was fake. And when I kept saying he was fake, I was talking about this is a person who wants you to perceive him as wise. Everything that he does is in order to prove that he's wise. A true wise person has nothing to prove. A true wise person does not try to kill somebody else in order to look better than. That's not what true wise people do. People will change the way that they look to be different. You ain't different, bro. You're just trying to be different. People will say things and write things and post things on their social media in order to look different. You're not different. You just doing things that you think other people will perceive you as different or as successful or as this wise person. Different is self-awareness, is knowing who you are and accepting who you are regardless of what society thinks. Different is practicing the things that you say are different. You could say all these things that you different and stuff, but you know what different is practicing what you preach. And we about to really break this down. You see, different is why people get assassinated. People will try to assassinate your character when they see different, because it affects this fake that someone in a place of power is trying to get people to believe. If you question enough, people will hate you. And if you question enough, you will have people that will try to assassinate your character because you are a threat to what they want the world to perceive, right? I'm gonna teach you guys something. There's a guy named Socrates. Do y'all know who Socrates is? You ready? Check this out, guys. So my man got a statue. Guys. Listen to me. This dude right here has a statue, and he never, ever wrote anything down. He ain't got a book. He ain't got a movie. He's too old. He ain't got none of that. The only reason that we know Socrates exists is because other people wrote about him. I tell you guys all the time, man, legacy is so important, man. Legacy allows you to live on. When you're thinking about death and what that means to you every single day, you want to live on. You want to do things that will give you a good death. So the reason why Socrates is so important in my eyes, why he's goated, is because I mentioned how true wisdom does not need to be spoken about or proven. This is a guy who has books written about him because of the people that he touched, because of the legacy he left behind, because of the influence he had on people in a good way, because he was just with people, because he had self-awareness, and because he was willing to ask questions and make people think and challenge them to be great. So this guy exists only because other people wrote about him. If he did not do what he did in his lifetime, we would never know he existed. So when I learned about this guy and I learned about his morals, his virtues, and what other people wrote, I found the next guy. And the next guy was Plato. And Plato wrote about him. And look, this is a lifestyle that I lived before I even knew any of this. I'm organizing my thoughts now, but I didn't know none of this. I'm already owner of Tomb 45, already successful in my own right, and I already felt this way, and I've already questioned everything, but I didn't know that there were philosophers who thought like this and who talked about this. And so you got Plato, who's writing about Socrates, and he's really breaking all this stuff down, and all of these virtues, all of these rules he learned from Socrates. He kept writing about how Socrates said this and how he said this, and he wanted to make sure that his words lived on. Another person did. Then you got a guy who reads Plato's book and he learns about Socrates. This guy has a son. His son takes over that guy's business where they would ship like dyes and stuff. And the guy's son, his name is Zeno. Zeno created Stoicism. And Stoicism is literally what Socrates should have created. You know what I mean? It is the philosophy of becoming a better person, living life to the fullest, and dying well. The Stoic philosophy is grounded on 4 virtues: self-control, justice, courage, and wisdom. Anything good has those traits. Anything bad does not have those traits. And so can you think about your life real quick? You arguing with your wife. You arguing with your business partner, with your friends, with a barber, with a hater, and you let somebody else control and make you go against your values and your virtues. So if somebody made you lose self-control, you failed today. You messed up. So imagine you arguing with your wife. Why are you arguing with your wife, bro? You lost self-control. Imagine you weren't just with someone. You weren't fair to them. You should be just and fair to everyone. Like, these are guys, when slavery was during the Roman Empire, where slavery was a huge thing, everybody was okay with slavery and they were against it. When I'm hearing these things, I think to myself, bro, how do you become a better person? That's what Stoicism is, right? It's the philosophy of becoming a better person, living life to the fullest, and dying a good death, right? Every single day, you need to review your day. Did you go against your virtues? Did you let somebody control you? Did you lose self-control? There's things that you can control in life and there's things that you can't. When you can't control them, you have a choice. You have a choice on how you react to it. So I'm breaking this book down, and I'm like, yo, I don't know how, but I've always thought this way. I just didn't have my thoughts organized like this. A true philosopher is someone who questions everything. And there's a thing called Socratic discussions. You guys know, if you guys really follow me, you guys know I have a lot of Socratic discussions. And what Socratic discussions is it's just you question everything. And these type of discussions can lead to people hating you. But that's what true philosophers do. They have Socratic discussions. They question everything. They question language. They question love. They question all these things to get a better understanding, to have a good life, to be a better person. It's not because they're trying to be bad, be mean, although it can be taken that way. It's just because they aren't reading books to do it. They aren't writing down things and thinking about what other people think to come up with a point or a belief. They're asking questions to come up with a belief. It's called Socratic discussion. Think about today's society, bro. You can't have a Socratic discussion in a barbershop. You can't have a Socratic discussion on a live on social media. You know what I'm saying? You can't do it. Someone will try to assassinate your character just because you question anything. I'm studying this thing, man, and I'm thinking about it. I mean, there was even this point where it talked about what is love. And here's the truth. This is crazy because there's a lot of people who have their idea of what love is. You ever see some words, man, where you go look up the definition? Depending where you look, it has 100 different meanings, or it doesn't really have a distinct definition. Love is one of those words. Success is one of those words. And I think because of these people's philosophies, and these are people from ancient Greek times, right? I feel like I've heard the best possible definition of it because they're real philosophers. I'm telling you guys this as an example of how dope this is. They say love, this is from Marcus Aurelius. He learned what love is from a woman, and she said all love is desire. All love is desire. It's not lust, it's not this fantasy thing. It's desire. Let me break this down. You ever heard the saying opposites attract? The reason why opposites attract is because you can't desire something you already are. You can't desire something you already have. If you're self-aware, you know what you are, you know what you have. There's no way you can love if you already have it. That's why love is desire. That's why opposites attract. I was like, yo, I've been saying that. I didn't know there was a philosophy on it. You don't change someone you love. You let them change you. And the reason why is because the reason why you love them is because they had something you desired that you don't have, and vice versa. I was gonna watch this video about Epictetus or something like that. This guy was a slave who decided he was in control of the things he could control.
He was born a slave and died one of the most influential teachers of his time. But Epictetus wouldn't have considered himself a teacher. He was a philosopher, a Stoic philosopher. Our first job is this, Epictetus said, to divide and distinguish things into two categories. Externals I cannot control, but the choices I make with regard to what I do control. Where will I find good and bad in me? In my choices. The flight is delayed because of weather. No amount of yelling at an airline representative will end the storm. No amount of wishing will make...
Bro, I'm so guilty of this, bro. And I know better. It's okay to be human, guys. You know how many times I've been at an airline mad as hell, ready, giving people attitudes and stuff? Like, you can't control them. And you have to know, if you are living a stoic lifestyle, you have to understand that there are a lot of people that live with hate, with greed, that are not self-aware. And so you got to have the self-control. Realize when you miss a flight or something and it's not your fault, you can't take it out on people. Now, here's the key. Here's what I believe is the key. You should be able to, at the end of the day, look at your day and say, did I have self-control? If you didn't, you got to talk to yourself about it. Yo, you know what's crazy? Socrates had all these questions, you know? He questioned all this stuff. And the reason why he died was he was put to death by the government because he questioned the Greek gods. Are they real? He questioned that. Oh my gosh. And was killed for it. It's kind of crazy, man. I wanted to share this with you guys because I've always been kind of different. And I've always had people that either love me or they hate me. I've never really cared if people hated me. I always put my energy into people who love me. and I've always challenged people. A lot of people will say I'm very argumentative, but now that I know what Socratic discussion is, I ain't argumentative, man. I'm just trying to have a Socratic discussion.